Curriculum implementation progress, the SATs and core curriculum. We have several papers in your packet based on this. So I want to go back to what I said about it was really just 2 years ago when we committed to a 24-month transition for a curriculum change that would normally take 36 months. So what I want to say first of all is congratulations to our educators for really doing the hard work to get this underway, because we're well into this core curriculum now. So I just want to thank you. I'm saying that because we have the tools that we need to get fully into core curriculum. We have now 2 quarters completed with every subject already being either changed over to core curriculum or well on its way. We will be getting, by the end of March, our first publication of the core curriculum things that have been accomplished for each grade level. So what you're going to want to remember is, or if you've never heard this before, is we have the website for core curriculum. You go to that and it shows you grade level, what are all the things that core curriculum is trying to do. Then our educators have a checklist, and what they're doing is indicating where their classes are at in accomplishing that or working towards that. Because what's really important to remember with core curriculum is that it is intended to be tailored to each school that uses it. So it has a very broad list of objectives, and it isn't possible for any one class to accomplish all of those things. What's intended is that the classes are working in harmony with each other to meet the objectives we have as a school, which would be what? To not only meet the minimum of California standards, but exceed those, so that we are that place of excellence for all of our students. Okay? So outside of that, that's the only thing we're trying to accomplish. So in the meantime, before you've got something more concrete to work with or begin working with in core curriculum, one is remind everyone that in the transition, we've only had at the beginning of this year with every subject now being influenced by core curriculum. So last year we weren't totally there yet. And by next year we'll be even more deeply invested in it. So on core curriculum and the website, to make the comparison to the information you'll be getting in the future, that's what I wanted to say about that
one. What website?
You know what, I meant to have it on the screen. We'll make sure we will have it, so it's always, I'd like to have a link on ours if it isn't there.
It is there.
I thought it was, because it happened.
It's where is it? It's www.coreknowledge.org. It's on our, on the link. The link is on the, let me look at the line. Exactly what it is.
I'm going to make sure, because I know we had it.
So this is tailored for our Savior? This is an indication of...
No, that part's not. So
okay.
That's the core knowledge master plan.
Oh, okay.
What you will begin to see is our Savior's tailored plan as Lynn and Jorge work with the teachers to identify now what
so that's going on.
Yes, so that's going to be going under process during this course.
Okay. Where are we going to see that?
So then we will publish that information. Lynn and Jorge and I didn't discuss how that was going to be published this yet. Just that it would be coming, and I know teachers would be looking at me like, Phil, what are you talking about? And, well, because Lynn and Jorge will be talking to you about how we begin to do that process. Okay? Dawn?
If you go to the Our Savior Lutheran School website on
yes.
the computer, there's an explanation of the core knowledge curriculum by grade levels.
Right, and that's what Angela was looking for, is because at our OSLS website we have that generic information, and the link should be
by grade level. It's up there.
Right, by grade level, and the link should be active so you can get to the core knowledge website from there, right?
It's loading, just give me a second.
Okay. We're going to verify that it's still functioning, that we have that static information on our website. We should have an active link still, that you get the most up-to-date core knowledge information that you would want to have.
But the assessment as to how far we're getting in the curriculum is coming in March, April-ish.
Right. So our in-house assessment now and how they go together, okay?
And that'll be linked to the school's website.
What will be
the assessment?
The assessment.
When you guys have finished it, we'll be able to get that.
How we're going to deliver that, I haven't committed to yet. I mean, ideally, that would be the best place for it, is in that virtual electronic place. Okay? So that's core before we go into the Sate for some reason. Because what you have next then in your packet are the composite scores from fall 2011, and then a sheet with a breakdown that shows us, since we began core curriculum, how each class is doing and how the whole school is doing in those subject areas. So as the paper describes, when you read the SAT composite scores, the top line means that 77% of our first grade class scored higher than, what?
That's the bottom one.
I've been working on this. The top line is, I'm looking right at the box, 77 means last year's first grade scored better than 77% of all students nationally who took the test. Yeah, so I was just going to shorten those verbiage. So 77% of our students scored above. And the 90% means 90% of those students were above average, so higher than 50% of all those who took this test. That's what those two numbers mean. Okay? Now, where this becomes valuable is when you flip the page and you look at a class now moving through the subjects by grade level. What we're looking for is not only are we performing at an acceptable level compared to national standards, but are they holding ground, are they actually improving, or do we see areas where they're declining? And that's what gives us a clue that, number one, we can say, hey, this is working, or number two, this is an area that needs attention. Okay, so everyone on the same page I am on the report? So we're looking right now at the big picture. How did the educators, how does administration use this evaluation? I want to give you two examples, well, one example of something that we are doing as a result of this evaluation. If you look at the math score, so I'm looking at total mathematics on the front of that page, and it shows grade 1 has a 73 in math in 2010, and now in grade 2 they have a 66. Okay? So what that tells us is compared to last year's grade 2, they're further ahead. And compared to where they were a year sooner, they seem to have closed the gap between where they are with math and others in the nation. Does everybody follow me so far?
No.
When I see that number, so I'm at red math, you see 73 in grade 1, and it's shaded.
Right.
Go diagonally to the next shaded number, which is 66.
Yeah.
That's the same group of kids.
So they would have gone down.
They've gone
So
down.
their number has gone down compared to others in the nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to see that number hold, go up, or be
Yeah.
not as significant of a change.
Yeah.
James?
I think you can attribute that to the fact that they're pushing ahead to third grade math.
Actually, I want to
No,
get to
it's a
that.
grade higher though. They're doing a grade higher work.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, so let me get to that. So I want to make sure first everyone's seeing the numbers and starting to make sense out of this Chinese soup. Okay? Is that these numbers in comparison to themselves from a year sooner, or compared to themselves, like to a class before them, are indicators of areas that need attention or don't need attention. Okay? Now, for everyone's benefit who may not know this, when we made this transition and made a commitment to accelerate in Saxon math, this grade that we're looking at was the first of Kim Robles' kindergartners who moved forward in math. And so they had a good running start in the first grade is what this was telling us. And then as they moved into second grade, this seems to be an indication that our curriculum in the second grade may not be as robust as it should be. But then what does that do to third grade? Okay, so if everyone is tracking with me so far?
No, not the last one.
The last one I said was, if the second grade a year sooner was scoring as high as they were, and now it's cooled off, so to speak, at the grade level they are now.
Yes.
The question is, are they being challenged enough? Are they working at the right level? That needs to be answered. And if they actually can perform more math at a higher level, then if we increase or keep moving forward the math they're doing, that has an effect on everyone in front of them. So you have to make sure that the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are also moving forward, so you don't end up with this 2nd grade getting to 4th grade and jumping all the way to 6th. Did I just do that too fast? Okay. If you get the general concept, what I'm using this to illustrate where we identified what we can see to be an area where we've made good progress, we're moving in the right direction. There could be some issues surfacing that are not giving our students the best opportunity. So what we are doing in math is Annabella State teaches our 8th graders algebra. So those students who are prepared for algebra so they can go straight into geometry in high school have her as their instructor. So she is our math specialist who is now going to evaluate the entire curriculum to see if this is where we're trying to get our students to, then what's happening from kindergarten all the way up, to make sure that all the kids, based on the numbers we have to work with, that the student body has the best opportunity to be doing the level of math they're capable of. Which is, what I'm saying is that we see that we still have some room, we think, to be helping students be more successful in math. And we have a person here who not only is she excellent with math, but the other thing she brings to us is she tutors kids at the charter school and at the middle schools, and so she knows what curriculum everyone else is using. So she's taking all of that together to make sure of 3 things. 1, that our students are prepared the best way possible for the highest math that they could get into in high school based on their skill. 2, that if a student comes into our Savior or leaves our Savior, that they're able to do it successfully. So we wouldn't want to be in a situation where you have students leaving our Savior, getting into a math system where they're behind in one area and ahead in another. So she's going to be looking at all of that to see how to get Saxon to coincide with that, and how to make sure that we're not seeing a pattern here that actually is taking a group of students who are doing really well, and that they slow down, so to speak, because some of the curriculum in front of them isn't as pushing forward as much as it could be.
Well,
You're still working with me?
what about the opposite? What happens if... Is there
And if we see the opposite, that
no, I mean if you push too hard.
if we see the opposite, that's why we wanted to get someone who focuses on that
I was
particular
going to say,
subject.
how can you
for
tell the
whole-
difference by the numbers? You can't.
I'm not prepared at this point to say how we're going to tell that difference. I am confident that Annabella Stagey knows, really has a really good feel for what she's doing, and has been very successful with us over the years in preparing our students for advanced math. So we're relying on her expertise as well as the balance of our educators to make that all work.
Will there be a plan in place at some point with the other curriculum, history?
So Steve is asking, was there a plan in place in the other curriculum? This is what we will be doing. That's it. I gave you a sample of how we then look at these scores, and we look at the core curriculum, we look at what we're actually doing, and then our professionals, especially in their areas of expertise, really bring to the table then those things that fine-tune this education to give our kids the best possible opportunity.